What is up, you guys? Today, I got the chance to see Wonder Man, Marvel's latest TV show. And this is such an interesting show. I was not planning on watching this. I had no intention in watching this. But I saw so many reviews and so many people saying, this is Marvel's best MCU show. This is one of the Marvel's best MCU shows, excluding, Loki and Daredevil. This is, one of the greats, Marvel's back. And I was like, it can't be that good. And I watched it, and yeah, it's that good. So this is definitely an interesting take on a Marvel TV show. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on the show. Obviously, there's going to be no spoilers in here. I don't really want to spoil anything for you guys. But there is going to be a little bit of a discussion within this. So if you want to go in with zero thoughts or zero, review, go check it out and then come back to this video. But I'm going to have no spoilers, so you're safe to watch this. Compared to all the other MCU shows, all the other ones have a basic formula to them where it starts off, introduces us to something grand, and usually the first episode's really, really interesting, and then it goes on a decline up until the finale, where it's the big finale where the hero fights the villain, right? That's pretty much at least 80% of the MCU shows that we've gotten. But when it comes to Wonder Man, it's a completely different show. This show is very little action, very little superhero world, but at the same time, it is probably one of the most acknowledging that we are in a superhero world show that we've got. This show is basically about an actor in Hollywood and how he is a superhero and has to struggle with being an actor and having superpowers and what that can mean to him as a person. I think that's a very awesome plot. That is such a cool and interesting idea and very different for the MCU to do. It's honestly something that sounds like an X-Men project where it's maybe a mutant who doesn't want to be a mutant and wants to just be a normal person but can't be because they are a mutant. And that's very similar to what Wonder Man's going through. And within this Wonder Man show, we get a lot of peeks into different projects. We have the detective from Spider-Man No Way Home in here. He's a big center character within this show. And we get, obviously, the Mandarin, or Trevor, the Mandarin from Iron Man 3, which I never once thought that the Mandarin from Iron Man 3 would be such an iconic character in the MCU. Because when that movie came out, I was very young, and I remember growing up disliking Iron Man 3, and obviously I don't hate it anymore, but I still don't love it, and I remember just disliking the whole Mandarin actor thing. I thought that was a terrible decision, but now, with this TV show and a little bit of Shang-Chi, it's one of the best written characters within the MCU. This show is very short. It's 30-minute episodes, and there's an intro, there's the 5 minutes of credits, so probably 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes per episode, and there's 8 episodes. So I watched this in one sitting, and I think that this show was really creative for putting them all out at once. Like a Netflix show, it was all released at one sitting. I think that was actually a very good idea to do, because this show isn't it doesn't leave off on cliffhangers. It doesn't rely on cliffhangers to end the show. For Wonder Man, it's a very I don't even know what to describe it as, but it's like a built-in show where it's following these characters, and it's just all dialogue. It's just character building in the Marvel universe. And speaking of world building, I love how we get references to projects that are Disney projects, because MCU is owned by Disney. We got Disney projects, we got Marvel projects, we got all these different projects that are real world projects, and it feels like this world is lived in. Where if you look at Fantastic Four, for example, or other Marvel or MCU projects, they don't feel like they're in the same universe. Wonder Man feels like this is connected to the whole MCU and just what basic people live like. And I really like how this is an interesting TV show and an interesting premise to see what the average day Joe is doing in the MCU world. One of my favorite episodes within this show, and probably one of the best episodes, if not the best episode out of any MCU show, was episode 4, Doorman, within this show. It was all in black and white, and it was the story of a superhero and how a superhero became a famous celebrity or a famous actor, and the repercussions of doing that. And it was very similar to, like, let's say the Haktua girl or something, or the Chick-fil-A girl, for example. A very, like, just an internet star who becomes famous overnight. And how do you make that last? How do you make those 15 minutes of fame last? And when will it die out eventually? And that's what this episode does really well. And it really reminded me of The Last of Us with episode 3 of that, where it was the gay couple. That's exactly how I felt watching this episode. Like, it was probably one of my favorite episodes I've seen of television. I absolutely adored it. And I love that we get Josh Gad just being Olaf in a club, and we literally see him singing In Summer to a trap beat remix. Wonder Man, I was not aware of your game here. And I didn't even get to talk about our main character, Simon. He's such a well-written character and so interesting. And the pilot for this show was directed by the guy who made Shang-Chi and directed by the guy who's making Spider-Man Brand New Day, the new Spider-Man movie. And I really loved how we get exactly right to the point of what characters are building, what we're seeing with these characters, and what their story is going to be. And that makes me really excited to see what Spider-Man Brand New Day is going to bring, because they really did that well within the first episode of Wonder Man. Simon is such an interesting character. He's an actor who just wants to be the best person he can be, but obviously he fails by overachieving and overthinking. And it's a very interesting motive and interesting character, especially working with his powers, where he can just, like, pretty much explode at any moment and has, like, super strength and stuff and can fly, all these different abilities. He's truly a wonder man. By the end of the show, it honestly left me very satisfied and gave me a big smile on my face. Now, obviously, by the end of the show, I have no clue if we're ever going to see Wonder Man again, or if we're ever going to see Trevor slash Mandarin again. Like, the way this show is, it kind of feels like its own independent thing, similar to, I would say, like Werewolf by Night. Like, I would love to see Werewolf by Night. I would love to see Man Thing again. Man, unfortunately, I don't think we're ever going to see Wonder Man again unless this gets a season 2, which I don't know. I don't really see a lot of people talking about this because there wasn't a ton of publicity for this. Like I said, I would not have seen it unless I got word that this was actually good. So maybe by telling you guys that it's good, maybe people will find out it's good, and the word will get spread around. So hopefully, check it out. This show was so good. The episodes were all unique and different, especially episode 4. There was one episode that felt like it was straight out of the TV show Atlanta. I love that show, and that felt very similar to one of the episodes within this show. And the fact that it wasn't an actual, like, superhero show, but it was a show about making movies, show about making a Hollywood actor who is struggling with being a superhero, or not even being a superhero, but struggling having powers. I didn't even notice this had a hole in it. That sucks. So let me know in the comments below, what did you think of Wonder Man? Are you going to check it out? And if you already did, what were your thoughts on it? If you like this video, make sure you like it. If you really like it, make sure you subscribe. And if you want to see future videos like this, make sure you ring the bell in the description down below. With all that being said, movie nerd out. Peace. Go Seahawks!